Sign up today for a 7-day free trial at alerts.chartguys.com. Hey everyone, checking in on the cryptocurrency sector. Just want to make a note about the alert system. Haven't talked about the alert system in a while. We're in the middle of revamping a whole bunch of stuff. We got a member taking lead charge on the project who has been very active using the alerts and had a bunch of great insights. So we're going to be looking forward to the next step with those alerts sometime in the coming months, and I'll certainly let you know when that is the case, but a lot more attention to detail and a lot more focus being put on it behind the scenes right now. So looking at these names right now, Bitcoin, I'm all cash as far as short-term positions go, and Bitcoin is in a tightening range and trading sideways. So as long we reach a point when I'm trading, whatever time frame I'm looking at, whether I'm day trading and looking at the hourly charts in stocks or whether I'm looking at daily charts in crypto like this, we reach a point where the range gets tight enough that I just say, okay, it's a very clear line in the sand where I say I'm not taking any trades until this range breaks. And what that keeps me from doing is over trading in tightening ranges, because in tightening ranges, when the daily chart looks like this, if this were a stock, you would expect the hourly time frame or the 15-minute time frame to be choppy and unclear. And of course, that's not the trading environment we want to be trading in. Number one, the volatility limits the range and the possibility. If we're very volatile and we have a 10 or a 5 to 10% move in a day, and I don't have to nail the top and the bottom, I can capture a large chunk of that trade and be profitable. But if the range is on a day or 1 to 2%, that's much harder. So we reach a point where it gets tight enough where I just put my hands up and say I'm waiting for the break. And we're at that point right now for Bitcoin for me, as we have our low, high, our higher low is 98.62, and we're watching for the potential of a lower high compared to 10,939. Right now we have a very clear tightening range forming. Essentially it's two daily multiple inside bars in a row. And we're looking for a short-term break of a tightening range, and then we look for the longer term. So how this short-term range breaks is going to directly impact the probabilities of how this longer-term range is going to break. So if this short-term range breaks bullish, then we continue more than the midway point between these ranges, and that starts to tilt the needle in favor of the bulls. If we break it bearish, our daily lower high has been set, and all focus will be on 9,862, because if that level breaks, we're then looking back down in the low $9,000 range. So patiently waiting, and what I'm doing is watching ETH, LTC, and their Bitcoin pairings. And even if I don't make any profit short term while I'm watching these correlations and their relationships, you better believe that I'm learning from it, and I'm locking that away in the library of my mind, and I will use that to profit sometime in the future. So I am still putting some time in to look at these charts. You know, I'm not just looking at Bitcoin and saying, all right, and then closing all my charts in crypto down. I'm putting in some time and effort to watch what these other coins are doing. And right now, Litecoin and Ethereum are trying to fend off weekly bear flags. So right now for Litecoin, we have to get over 73.24 to try and decrease the odds that this is a weekly bear flag at this point. And that break of 73.24 is a must. If we do not break 73.24 and we come down and break 67.10, the odds of it being a weekly bear flag will increase pretty significantly. So it's very important to hold this level and break that resistance. And again, see the first bull cross of these 12 and 26 period exponential moving averages on the daily time frame. It'll be the first time we've seen a bull cross since we were up at 146. So it would be notable, and it would increase the odds that our monthly higher low has formed, which is what we're looking for on these two names. The low, high of the big bull move, and we're looking for our monthly higher lows. LTC BTC. So we've got our higher low forming, and now the bulls have to change the daily trend, and we need to see a bull break over 7095 to see that daily trend change, because right now we have our low, the high of the bounce, our higher low has been established with the 4-hour trend change. Let's make sure that has taken place before I say it. So that's a 4-hour trend change, little higher low and higher high, and we have to see the daily chart confirm the daily trend change. We did just see a spike right before doing this video. 15-minute time frame, LTC BTC shot up significantly, and LTC USD shot up significantly. We're consolidating from this. We'll see how much of this move we will give back, but obviously it's a big spike. That's a 3%, 2.5%, 3% move in just 45 minutes. So that's worth paying attention to, and we'll see if Litecoin, both the US dollar and Bitcoin pairing, can continue with a little daily higher low and higher high. ETH USD is in a very similar spot. It's a weekly bear flag. And the bulls have to prove to us that it is not a weekly bear flag, because right now we have a daily trend change with a lack of follow through. And a trend change with a lack of follow through on any time frame means zoom out and look for a flag on the longer term time frame. So our higher low is established at 173.70, and the bulls must break resistance of 186, which we just came close to breaking, but have to do that to see this daily uptrend continue. And again, first bull cross of the exponential moving averages are trying here on the daily time frame, first cross since the $300 range. We're looking for the monthly higher low here as well. We have our low of the big long winter. We have our high of the bull move, and we're looking for the higher low to be set. The ETH BTC pairing is closer to changing the daily trend than the LTC BTC pairing. We have our low, high of the bull move, higher low has been established, and we're looking up at that resistance. So ETH has a slight edge over LTC for these two reasons. And if this daily trend continues, or I should say if this daily trend changes to the bulls on both Ethereum and Litecoin, that will be notable, and that will increase the odds significantly that the bulls can fend off the weekly bear flag setup. So that will be important to be keeping an eye on. XRP has a really nice tightening equilibrium to be watching. We are testing resistance right now. 2475 is support. Resistance is up at 267 pretty much. And now we have a higher low at 251. And the bulls must break 267 resistance in order to change. And it's really 26732. That's a double top right at the same level. We would have to ensure breaking both of those levels. But that would be the first daily trend change. When's the last time XRP was in a daily uptrend? We had a little higher low and higher high here that ended up being a weekly bear flag, but that was back in early August. So it has been about 5 weeks in a downtrend, and the bulls are trying to shift that momentum. If we reject and pull back for the rest of the weekend, we'll have a real tight range to be watching on the daily chart to start next week. Binance bounce is underway. It's a weak bounce. It is still a potential bear flag even on the daily. Anything on the daily under 2273, I would consider a lower high. The daily exponential resistance has been a great guide. It's still resistance. And at this point, the 4-hour time frame didn't really see a clear trend change. So we would have to see a hold of 2040 and a bull break of 2125 in order to see that 4-hour trend change. And then we would zoom out to the daily, and we would be right at that daily exponential resistance. So we're still looking for a monthly higher low in Binance as well. And I do believe that the monthly higher lows will form in Binance, Ethereum, and Litecoin all at the same time. We're watching for clues. Is this happening now? And every day we're going to get more information on that. So Binance right now, this is ideal. This is an ideal monthly chart. Obviously, the bulls would have liked to see a potential bull flag. At this point, I do not think it's a bull flag. But when you see that volume on the way up and that stair-step volume down on consolidation, it's exactly what the bulls want to be seeing. And what I mean by that is if we had consolidated and held $24, the odds of a monthly continuation move are going to be much more likely than if we pull back all the way down into the teens, which is what we did. Because again, percentage move required. And when I say again, I just talked about this a lot in the MJ video I just did. So I haven't talked a lot about it in this video, but worth checking out that video because it's on the same thread. The percentage move required to break resistance is up at 90. We have to see a 90% move to see a monthly higher high. So that tells me that the most likely scenario would be something along these lines into the start of the new year. A tightening monthly range once we form the monthly higher low. We're not convinced. We have to see a daily trend change as step number 1 for the potential of a monthly higher low being set. So Binance still has a long way to go, but that's what we're looking for. So again, and this is how I approach every day trading day in the stock market. I wake up in the morning, I determine what is the most likely broader case scenarios, and then I zoom in and look at the details and try and establish a trade game plan based on the longer term. So if I'm looking at an hourly oversold bounce, a strong bull trend on the daily, an hourly oversold bounce, I'm zooming into the 15-minute, the 5-minute, and looking to see for little details that hourly bounce is going through. So if I'm looking for a monthly higher low to form on these names, my thesis is established. I know what the most likely scenario is in the longer term, and then I zoom into the daily and weekly time frame and try and pinpoint as soon as I can the odds shifting enough that is likely to happen to profit from it. EOS USD is also seeing very healthy daily consolidation. This is ideal. Look at the volume. Big bull volume, low bear volume, very tight range, nice and healthy, no red flags. Support is 365, and we're looking at the daily trend having to change with a break of 340. Essentially, we'll just round up, make that $4. $4 has to break for the clear daily trend change. And if the bulls can do that on increasing bull volume into tomorrow, it's going to be a good sign. The weekly time frame at that point, the bounce will be underway. We will just be looking for a weekly lower high to form compared to 458, but monthly time frame, we are looking for a higher low to form on the monthly chart. And it's more convincing on EOS than all the other names that we just looked at. And if we change that daily trend and get that follow through, again, it's just a needle. What is the most likely scenario? What is the probability? And if right now the probability, I'm just making these numbers up, but if the probability that our monthly higher lows are in is at 55%, and then EOS sees this daily bull move, that's going to tick the needle up to 60% or whatever. But the point is, we constantly can be shifting probabilities based on the day-to-day action, which is why I will always change my analysis if we get new information. There are people who try and make a call and then stick with that call no matter what happens. And in my opinion, that is just like, it's putting yourself at a disadvantage. Why would you not use the information that we're getting each day? It's useful. So that's where we stand in the cryptocurrency space overall. We'll see how this Litecoin move consolidates. Again, if we pull back a bit further, it'll be a 15-minute equilibrium is the most likely setup. But we'll continue to check in on things and watch to see if these monthly higher lows are going to be set. For those that are interested, I talked about the tightening range and how I'm not trading Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency space until Bitcoin breaks that range, and it might be another week or two. So it's very hard to sit on your hands for that long if you're only trading the cryptocurrency space. I know I've encouraged people to expand their horizons many times, and I'm going to do it again. We have had marijuana sector traders come to crypto. We've had crypto go to marijuana. I just put out a video, a 90-minute presentation about the introduction to U.S. marijuana stocks for people that are not very stock savvy. So check that out on the YouTube channel if you're interested in diving into that space. Commodities have been on fire. I get a lot of messages from members saying, I was a crypto trader, I went to commodities, I'm having success. There's a lot of volatility in commodities. That won't always be the case. So they're going to find it harder if they stay there when the volatility drops off. But again, bouncing to where the volatility is, they're saying that they find the technical analysis much cleaner. There's less fake outs. And that's just a constant theme of feedback that we are getting. So there are definitely concerns with, you have to have a minimum of $25,000 to be able to day trade without limitations. You can only make 3 day trades in a week otherwise. So that's a limiting factor. And again, some people don't have enough money to either split it up between crypto and stocks, which is certainly understandable as well. But again, I'm just planting seeds, and you can still be watching these charts, not putting a whole bunch of time into technical analysis because it is a tightening range, but learning about other markets. Doesn't mean you have to be trading those other markets right now. Learn about them, expand your horizons, expand your possibilities and opportunities, because the more opportunities we have, the easier it is to jump around to where the highest probability of the best opportunity is. Have a good weekend. I'm going to head to a sweat lodge this evening, Lakota family style sweat lodge. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll report back how that experience was. I've gone to a couple before, but it's been a few years. And we'll end it here with ducks. I got some old footage of the ducks to see when they were their smallest and their most recent footage, as they are probably going to be heading on their way south in the near-term future. And it's cool to see the distinct difference that just 4 months makes. Have a good rest of your weekend.
It's a party. It's a bird party.